Michael. This is rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 7 minutes. It's from Universal, Lionsgate, and Optimum. This is a music biography directed by Antoine Fuqua. It stars Jafar Jackson, Juliano Valdi, and Coleman Domingo, among many others. Michael Jackson is the latest musician to have a biography depicting their rise to fame, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you enjoy this video and you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and share it with friends. If you want to go that extra mile and keep this ship afloat, please subscribe to my Patreon page where you get access to these reviews before they hit YouTube. Michael is the latest biography about a musician's struggles rising in the charts to become a superstar or a victim of their own success. It stars Jafar Jackson, the real-life nephew of Michael Jackson, as well as Coleman Domingo and Nia Long as Michael's parents, Joseph and Catherine. It is no secret Joseph Jackson was a strict and demanding father, pushing his children to greatness, but potentially hurting them in the process. Michael starts in the 60s, just as the Jackson 5 are beginning to make a name for themselves. Young Michael, Juliano Valdi, is a show stealer. People are not just captivated by Michael, but they're also shocked at the small body delivering that performance. The 10-year-old child has a clear, God-given talent, and to the credit of the casting department, so does Juliano Valdi, who is simply phenomenal as young Michael. Joseph's strict upbringing and cruel ambitions begin to make Michael a little strange, and as a young man, Jafar Jackson's Michael is socially awkward and a bit closer to his pets than he should be. I thought owning my boa was exotic. Michael has a snake, a llama, a giraffe, and a chimpanzee named Bubbles. The movie continues to show Michael on his ascent to stardom and his eventual need to break away from the Jackson 5 and his overbearing father. But anyone who hasn't lived under a rock knows there is a much larger story than that. The film ends in 1988 with a title card that reads, "His story continues," as if to imply Michael Part 2 was somewhere in the pipeline. According to reports, Michael faced a $15 million reshoot to change its ending after a trial concluded that it cannot depict any of the victims on screen. As many, if not all of us know, Michael Jackson was accused of sexually assaulting minors. He had a history of drug and alcohol abuse. Need we not even talk about him dangling an infant child from the window of his mansion? Michael, the movie, desperately sidesteps all of that. I'm not sure what the original ending looked like. There are clearly points in the script alluding to Michael's later issues, but the movie seems to do everything in its power to avoid the allegations and sanitize his legacy entirely. The truth of this is, if the Michael Jackson biography were honest about the singer's struggles, it would have never been allowed to use the singer's music. And there is no biography without the music of the subject itself. Without the context of his actual life, Michael is a really good film until it kind of just abruptly ends. It is entertaining, the acting is exceptional, and it goes without saying that the music is great. Jafar Jackson embodies his older cousin perfectly, particularly during the concert scenes where he gives himself over to the performances. But it is hard to set aside the context. Janet Jackson is also mysteriously absent from this picture. I don't mean just absent. She does not exist. There is no mention of her at all, which is a little strange considering she too becomes a chart-topping pop singer superstar. At over 2 hours long, I actually felt Michael still had more to offer, and while I'm open to the idea of a second film, I can't imagine what that film would actually be. A montage of the singer's worst moments leading to his ultimate demise? I'm just not sure that works. As it stands, Michael Part 1 is a loving but overly safe tribute to one of the best entertainers of our time. And should a part 2 be made, it would feel like a more appropriate conclusion. Otherwise, Michael may be well acted and produced, but it still feels kind of incomplete. I gave this 3.5 out of 5. Next and last for today, I got an early review for you, and that would be